That's what I said. I guess we should go into this then. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first episode of Season 2 of Jurisfiction. My name is Nima Ashtiani.
My name is Adam Kirshner, and Jurisfiction is a conversation about whether real laws apply to fictional characters and circumstances. And today's topic, it's based on the phenom from Netflix of recent. It's based on Stranger Things. And the idea is, if you were Will and you were captured by the Demogorgon, usually whenever you're in jail, you're entitled to a phone call. And Will even made a few phone calls while he was imprisoned in the Upside Down. So if you were Will and the Demogorgon held you in the Upside Down, but gave you a phone call, who would you call? And how do you think that would turn out?
Well, that's interesting. So Will is a 10-year-old kid, right?
I don't know exactly what age he is, but yeah, he's
a young kid.
Yeah, he's in elementary school or middle school.
So I saw a few of these. I think I kind of get it. So, well, how about this? Will is kind of like in the first one episode, right?
So there's more than one episode where you see him. He's definitely like walking around in the final episode because they save him.
But he doesn't. His only interaction with people that we see is like his family and those like three other boys that he plays Dungeons and Dragons with.
Initially, but you can assume, right? Because like the whole school went to this like rally, feeling good about Will or whatever the purpose of the rally was. And they went to his funeral too. So like you can assume that he knew many other people, even though you did not see him interact with them.
Mm-hmm. So when you base this question, are we assuming that every character's on the table, or are we stepping in the shoes of Will as he is?
Let's step in the shoes as Will as he is, and then we'll deal with how that would turn out, right? With the second part, right? If you pick somebody that he wouldn't necessarily know, we'll see. Well, maybe he would be able to contact them, or maybe they do know him.
Got it. Well, if we're taking Will as he is, and I'm assuming his age, like 9 or 10 years old, I gotta tell you, if I were a 10-year-old kid and I was trapped by a demon and I had a phone call, or Demogorgon, and I had a phone call, I'd probably call who he did and call his mother.
You'd call, so Joyce Byers, his mother.
Joyce Byers, his mother.
Okay.
He calls twice, and each time fries the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was also the lights with the letters on it.
He directs her under like a cabinet, right? And she has this like ball of Christmas lights.
Uh-huh.
And it's like blink once for yes and twice for no. And she's like not getting anywhere with that. So then she does one light per letter of the alphabet. She redecorates her home, right? And she paints the alphabet on the wall and puts Christmas lights. And then it's the slowest way of communicating because it's just lighting up one letter at a time. It's like Ouija, but like with Christmas lights.
Yeah, actually, that's a great way to put it. That is the first functioning Ouija board.
Mm.
That would be the first functioning Ouija board. But yeah, I think that's right. So they set up all the lights, and like first he blinks them to different rooms and everything. But his first interaction was with his mother, and actually we know how that one goes, right? Because his first phone calls to his mother, and the rest of the show is premised on the fact how the show progresses is the fact that he contacted the mother, and now people think she's crazy.
Right, but eventually she convinces them.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have to say that if I were Will, stepping into Will's shoes as a 9 or 10-year-old kid, probably my first form of communication would be to my mother.
And you already know the phone number, right? It's your home.
Yeah. And I guess the only reason why her is because she happened to be the one that picked up. I guess I would call the house. I think if I were him, I would prefer to get the brother on the phone, though.
You'd call home, but you would call Jonathan Byers instead of Joyce Byers.
I would try to get Jonathan Byers if I could. No, I mean, look, if she picks up, I'm not going to be like, hey, do you mind putting Jonathan on before the demon comes back? No, I mean, I would make my one phone call to home.
One of the big problems with calling the Byers is apparently they didn't have an answering machine. Right, she sat there like all night with the phone on her lap.
Right,
like she doesn't have an answering machine. She's got to pick it up if she wants to talk to him.
And well, I guess I don't know if an answering machine would work, because whenever she tries to answer, the phone gets fried.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so like you're gonna have to find a reliable way of communicating. So Jonathan Byers, how's that gonna turn out? Or like I guess he could make a mixtape for you. Like he could play you some Clash. Like that would be cool, I guess.
He could bake a cake and put it through the Upside Down, so I could file my way out. No, I was thinking because, so the mother, and I forget her name again.
Joyce.
Joyce Byers, played by Winona Ryder, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, stellar role. Joyce Byers, it's a double-edged sword. Like, the mother wants to know her son's okay. So it makes sense that she would be panicked and freaking out and trying to figure out what's going on when Will calls. But it makes her hard to believe, right? Because it's like she's grieving and this kid has been deemed dead and everything else.
Right.
But the brother comes off as a little more reserved or proactive. He doesn't come off as like freaking out. No, I got to stay by this phone and you don't understand. He took it upon himself to he got convinced with clear and convincing evidence that the brother was somehow still alive and communicating.
Sure, he photographed the monster so he can show it to people. Like, that's tangible evidence.
Right. And he didn't believe his mother either, right? He said just accepted that this thing happened.
No, but he conducted his own investigation and determined, look, yeah, he was attacked by a monster.
Right. So that's why I'm saying, as Will, I would call home hoping to get Jonathan, because if Will knows how Jonathan is, like how he would think and everything else, I think the idea would be you call home because that's the number you know and that's your family. Mm-hmm. But Jonathan would be the one to figure it out and show people, hey, look, Will's still alive. He's communicating. Come check this out. He's called. And I have these pictures. All these things lead up to we think that he's still around.
Yeah, but let's talk about the pictures a little bit, right? Because that's problematic if you're pinning your hopes and dreams on Jonathan Byers, right? Because he took some pictures that the subjects of the photographs were uncomfortable with him doing, right? So they destroyed his camera, which led to an alley fight.
Yes.
Which led to him assaulting a police officer, which led to him being arrested. And he's not going to be able to save you from the Upside Down if he's, in his own jail, right? Like, you're being imprisoned in the Upside Down. Meanwhile, he's being imprisoned in, the county jail.
So, this is a non-sequitorious point, but is that like the Upside Down Guantanamo?
I don't know. Like, I think the whole... It definitely, there's no time frame for his release, right? There's no, you're going to be here for, 5 years, right? Like, it seems indefinite.
No writ of habeas corpus?
No habeas corpus in the Upside Down. There's no court, apparently, in the Upside Down. Just lots of, water on the ground. It's weird.
Yeah, actually, that is a little weird.
Yeah.
It's very, very moist.
So, notwithstanding him being held in the Upside Down, for the most part, until he has that thing, shoved down his throat, he seems to have freedom of movement, right? He was hiding in his imaginary castle.
Right.
So it's a little better than Guantanamo, I think, the Upside Down is.
Because he can leave his cell at any time he wants.
Right, which is just to say how, terrible Guantanamo Bay is.
But the only thing is he can leave his cell to go to what would be considered a bigger cell.
Yeah, but plenty of exercise. That's what they call it, right?
So it's more than an hour of yard time.
Yeah, more than an hour of yard time. It's a very wet yard, but you get all the time in the yard you want.
Well, so who would you?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons to call a lot of the characters, right?
Right.
I think I can reject out of hand Mike Wheeler, though, right? Like, a lot of instinct would be, we'll call Mike. Mike's he was the dungeon master. He's the main character, I guess.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. He's the kid with the bowl cut.
The kid with the fierce haircut. And so, admittedly, Mike Wheeler creates synergy like a boss child.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
But he needs everyone else to do everything for him, right?
Yes. I
mean, the story centers around him, but he gets his associates to advance the story, right? Like, yeah, he flew off the cliff, but 11 had to make him fly, right? And yeah, he led the rescue, or what would have been the rescue, I guess, of Will. But he really needed Dustin, and he really needed Lucas. Independently, Lucas and Dustin they seem like good choices. Lucas doesn't have time for any of your crap, right? Like, he's just gonna act, right? So if you can contact Lucas, he's gonna immediately be proactive.
Right.
But he's a little too independent, right? And he will not succeed on his own, right? Like, they need the team. Dustin, on the other hand, he's very cautious. He's a lover, not a fighter. He's a lover of food. But he's not a fighter, right? So again, he wouldn't be able to do it on his own.
And even if you went with any of the three kids, at the end of the day, they are but three children, and it is a Demogorgon.
Yeah, they're only going to be able to go so far.
They're only going to be able to go so far.
So for me, like even knowing about 11, right? Like even assuming that Will would know 11 because she knows him, right? She contacts him.
Mm-hmm.
What she lacks in culinary taste and basic linguistic skills, she makes up for by like making things happen with her mind. But again, like she's just one person, and she can barely speak, right? So like, how's that phone call gonna go, right? There's only so much that you can say and that she can say to you.
Friend trust?
Yeah, friends don't lie to each other.
Friends don't lie to each other.
Yeah, help me, I'm upside down. I think really who I would call, and a lot of it goes to, would you even know their phone number? I would call 911. I would call Chief Jim Hopper.
I like that answer, and I was actually thinking that too.
Yeah. I mean, who better to fight demons than a man who already is haunted by demons, right?
Right. I do want to take a step back for a second. When you were talking about 11, you said that she had limited verbal skills, and what was the other thing you said?
Oh, what she lacks in culinary taste and basic linguistic skills. Yeah.
Culinary taste. Are you saying that you don't approve of her Eggo waffle admiration?
Look, Eggo waffles are delicious, but she doesn't even cook them, right? Like
she just eats them straight out of the box.
Yeah, she just eats like frozen Eggo waffles in the forest by herself. Like you can dream a little bigger, right? Like you just made it out of Hawkins' laboratory. You can have anything you want to eat.
I mean, she did have burgers and burger and fries, and that did not end up well for her, as the person who gave it to her ended up shot. So maybe she was a little scarred. But I will say, let's say by some chance someone from the Eggo Waffle Company was listening to this and was like, "Hey guys, we'll send you Eggo waffles." I, for one, would not turn them down.
Right. If we were offered a lifetime supply of Eggo waffles, well, thank you, sir. Challenge accepted.
I, in fact, will eat Eggo waffles every day for the rest of my life.
I will, even if that's the only way I can continue receiving the lifetime supply of Eggo waffles.
At least one waffle a day. I could do that.
Yeah, a waffle a day keeps the
food truck in your driveway?
That works for me. So Chief Jim Hopper. I would call Chief Jim Hopper.
Okay.
He enforces laws, at least when it is convenient for him to do so, which is rarely ever. But
and he also broke a significant number of them.
Right, yeah. Like he uses the badge when he feels like, it would help him.
Yeah, that's definitely not okay. Not okay.
Yeah. So here's how I envision it happening, right? He wakes up at, the crack of 10, has a little Schlitz flavored hair of the dog after brushing his teeth. He shows up to work in the late morning for coffee and contemplation. And then I call him, 911. And they say, what is your emergency? And I say, I'm in the upside down. I'm being held by the Demogorgon. And they'll direct my call to him.
That's very ambitious of you to think that they'd be like, okay, and just give you to the chief of police, but yeah.
Yeah, Chief Jim Hopper, please. No, so I leave my message with, I think her name is Flo, right? Like I explain what's going on. I leave a message with Flo.
Flo? Flo like the TV show?
Now Flo, we've been through this. Mornings are for coffee and contemplation. And so she eventually gets him to listen to her. And she says, hey, look, there's this frantic kid. He's being held somewhere that he calls the Upside Down. He says there's a monster there.
I feel like if you started with, hi, this is Will Byers, that would get some attention.
Oh, just name drop myself?
Yeah, I mean, this kid is missing and presumed dead.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So if you start with, hi, this is Will Byers, here's my date of birth, social security number. I assume a 10-year-old may know their social security number.
Yeah, I heard you're looking for me. My name's Will Byers.
Yeah, so peep this. I'm okay.
Well,
don't
not
stop
really okay.
looking.
I mean,
well, I'm alive.
Yeah.
I am not stuffed with cotton.
Let me tell you how to find me.
Let me tell you, you're right. Well, I don't know if he knows, actually. That might be the only issue.
Well, but he can say what happened.
Right. He was in the woods and got captured by a thing.
Yeah, I was riding my bike home. He went home.
Mm-hmm.
A monster chased him from his house to his shack, and he fell down a hole in a tree in the woods.
I believe so. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so just
So that-
look at all the trees by my house.
Which, if he made those statements to Chief Hopper, may give Chief Hopper the facts that he needs to maybe get a search warrant and legitimately search the base. I'm not sure what to call it, the research facility. That, you know, Chief Hopper just kind of walked in with his badge and goes, "Hey, I'm a cop. Hi."
Yeah, so generally I'm a big fan of criminal procedure, like following it, not breaking basic Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights. But going back to Chief Jim Hopper, who enforces laws when it's convenient for him, which basically is never, he seemed to do pretty well without that warrant, right?
He did. Yes, he did.
And would he do so well with the warrant? Right, like if you give them advance notice, like Dear Hawkins Laboratory, may I have permission to look around?
That's a good question, right? What's this curtain doing on this random wall?
There's a movie screen behind it. Don't worry about it.
Feng shui.
Feng shui, right?
I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like, he could go in and search the whole facility without danger of being tossed out or grabbed by their security without the warrant.
At least he's the only character that we know who would be able to do that.
Yes, because he has the training. So apparently he was a big city cop, and after his daughter died, he just kind of wanted to get away from that.
Yeah.
So he took his big city training and took it to small town. I'm not sure where they are, actually.
I think it's Hawkins, Indiana.
Hawkins, Indiana. Took it to Hawkins, Indiana, and, you know, became chief of police because he had a lot of experience being a city cop. But I think his city ways, his city thinking, got him through without that warrant, right? So you're right. Without the warrant, he ran the danger of getting caught by security and everything else. But he's a sizable guy. He punched some people and everything and found what he needed to find. With the warrant, I don't know if he has to alert them in advance, right? He could just walk through the door with a slew of officers, or I guess in his case, 2.
Yeah, so there was that party. I think it was a Christmas party. And there seemed to be more than just those 2.
But those other 2 are usually the only ones that you see doing anything.
Yeah, they're like his BFFs, pretty much.
So he could grab a bunch of cops and say, knock on the door, and when they answer, go, "Hey, surprise, warrant, search the place," and spread them out. So, I mean, they could use that as warning to go and try to fix things up, but, I mean, it takes time to go to Bed Bath & Beyond, pick out the right curtain. It's not just any curtain, it's the right curtain.
You gotta measure it, and yeah.
You gotta measure it. It's gotta match, because if it doesn't match, then, I mean, if I were a cop, and I saw this random curtain that just didn't match the rest of the room with that random hook in the ground and some slime on the walls or whatever, I would think that was put there purposefully to try to deceive me into thinking that there was nothing behind there.
Yeah, they're dual purpose, right? They're dual purpose legal police and fashion police, right? So they're gonna notice if it doesn't tie the room together.
And he's from the big city, right? As he's got that city eye. You know, city people, they like to dress up and, you know, not be so small towners. So he's got both eyes.
Yeah, keen eye. Yeah.
That would tingle his spidey senses, if you will.
Yeah, and he's got the drive and the determination. So I think he's really the best person to call.
And he can convince other people, right?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, so notwithstanding Mike Wheeler's like boss child synergy creation, Chief Jim Hopper is a full grown man, right? Who created synergy, right? Like he got Nancy Wheeler and Jonathan Byers and Joyce Byers and Mike Lucas, Dustin, and Eleven. Like he coordinated a large operation.
Yeah.
Delegated authority. Okay, you guys make a pool with salt or whatever, you know, and 11 can go swimming, whatever. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go save the kid, right? So you guys enjoy your pool party.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will say though, the one person on the bottom of my list of people to call for help.
The last person you would call?
The last person. In fact, I don't even think I would call this person no matter how much trouble I was in.
He's on the do not call list?
On the do not call list. That person is Barb.
Oh my God. You wouldn't call Barb.
I mean, Will got captured by the Demogorgon, and he survived. What happened to Barb?
So Barb, for the listeners, Barb is the doting normcore princess who was sacrificed so that we may know fear and love, but mostly fear. She was
What an explanation.
yeah, and she was with Nancy at her own pool party. And so Nancy, so Nancy was going to go do something with her boyfriend. And Barb was just sitting by her lonesome out by the pool. And the Demogorgon attacked her and brought her to the Upside Down.
And the reason she got attacked was because she cut her finger.
Yeah, she was trying to, what's that thing with the beer cans?
Shotgun?
Shotgun? Yeah, she was trying to shotgun a beer can, and she cut her hand instead of the beer can.
And the Demogorgon smelled her blood.
Like
and
a
I think
shark, yeah.
Yeah, and she dropped it in the pool, actually, right? Like a drop went in the pool.
Yeah, there was blood in the pool.
And exactly like a shark. Demogorgon was like, I smell your blood, and now I come and take you.
Mm-hmm. So you would not call Barb?
Well, I guess the issue is Barb was already...
Yeah, she's already in the Upside Down.
Well, that's problem one. Problem two, she didn't do so hot. She didn't fare so well there.
No.
I mean, Barb's got some good senses, right? Like, she went to this party with Nancy and the other people and everything, and she's like, I don't know if this is a good idea, and she was right.
Yeah, she's more of a coach and not so much of a player, right? Like, she's good on the sidelines.
Yeah, she's an ideas person.
She's an ideas person, yeah.
That's what she's good for. So, I mean, if you got Barb, maybe she could come up with an idea, but unfortunately, Barb doesn't make it past, I don't know, episode 2. And she's like the only person.
She's the only one that you would not call.
I think she's the only one I would not call.
What about the science teacher? I think his name is Scott. He's like the best tech support ever. Would you call him?
Answering students' calls at 10 o'clock, even when he is entertaining a lady guest.
Yeah, with like a horror movie or something. That's a horrible movie to show.
The only issue I have with him is he has that creepy mustache.
That's your only issue with him?
There are other issues that I don't know are appropriate right now for this episode.
Yeah, that's fair.
But he's a knowledgeable guy. I mean, he when he was speaking with the 3 boys about what it means to be the Upside Down and how to get there, he knew his stuff.
Yeah, the flea and the acrobat, yeah.
And I got to tell you, I can't remember being, I think if I were 10, I would have been in 5th grade. I can't remember being in 5th grade and learning such comprehensive things. I don't think my science teacher from back then knew any of that stuff.
He knows a lot. So Dustin basically lawyered Scott, the science teacher, into explaining how to make this like ad hoc sensory deprivation chamber so that 11 could like astral project.
Oh yeah, it was a fantastic cross-examination by Dustin.
Yeah, and he just did it off the top of his head, Scott. Right? Like, so who knows what else maybe he does know how to kill a Demogorgon. Like, we don't know. Make that figure it out.
I mean, I don't mean this to veer off of legality and become more of a question about the show, but, you know, they're kind of part and parcel with each other. Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder, maybe he's too overly qualified to be a 5th grade science teacher.
He knows a little too much.
He knows a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, maybe he might be someone to call to the extent that he himself is not part of the reason why all this happened. But that's what's it called? Fan theory, if you will.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess at the end of the day, call Chief Jim Hopper. And if Chief Jim Hopper needs Scott, Chief Jim Hopper will call Scott.
Yeah. In fact, call Chief Jim Hopper and say, hey, here's the situation. You may want to call Scott.
Yeah, just generally, if you're in trouble, call 911.
Call 911.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did Jurisfiction just solve another problem?
I think we just solved another problem, yeah.
We just solved another problem in season 2.
That's right.
So, as usual, send us any questions you have, jurisfiction1@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Jurisfiction. Follow us on Instagram, Jurisfiction. Follow us on Twitter, @Jurisfiction1. Don't forget to check out our website, where we post all of our episodes, www.jurisfiction.net.
Thank you for listening.
Monsters do have their place. In the zoo, in your nightmares, in the deep, in your favorite horror movies. But not in your living room. on your TV. Don't let pay TV be the monster in your living room. Pay TV and cable TV companies are seeking the right to charge you for the very programs you now get free. If you want to stop pay TV and save free television, sign the petition in the lobby of this theater. Let your lawmakers know how you feel in the fight against pay TV and cable TV.